Hello bookworms! Today I'm here to do a new video all about my 2020 reading goals and kind of a little bit of an update and a future of my channel kind of video. It's actually been over a month since I have filmed a video, which is wild because I usually would film almost every weekend or every other weekend, but things have been kind of changing for me. 2020 is going to be all about spending as much time as I possibly can with Andrew, with my family, with my friends, and going out and doing things and seeing things. So like I said, it's been over a month since I last filmed a video. I've had some really great weekends ever since then. I feel like I have fit so much in. I've experienced more of New York than I have since I first moved here. It's been like a year and a half now that Andrew and I have been in New York City, and I've been really enjoying it. I think that we have been having a lot of fun and going out and getting to spend time together, which has been really nice. But obviously I have been making YouTube videos for quite a long time, and I really love and appreciate all of you guys. So I do feel like I owe you a bit of an explanation as to where I've been and as to where I might be in the future. So I feel like I've been kind of slowly coming to this realization over the entirety of the past year that I kind of have been wanting to do more things for myself instead of feeling the need to give so much of myself and my schedule and Andrew's schedule to YouTube, which is something that is not a full-time job for me, though I do treat it that way. A big thing that kind of changed is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we pretty much got the worst news possible from my mom's doctor, and it's been really hard since then. That kind of just snapped things into perspective for me and really got me thinking about what I want the most out of my life while I'm here and what I'm gonna remember the most. And I know that those days that I share with family and friends, like making new memories and going out and doing things, are definitely the days that stick out in my mind as the best days that I have had. The days that I don't remember as best days are days where I have turned things down in order to stay home and film YouTube videos and edit YouTube videos in order to stick to my rigid schedule. So yeah, 2020 for me is really going to be much more focused on spending time with my family. I do enjoy YouTube, obviously. I've been doing it for quite a long time, and I enjoy filming and I enjoy talking to all of you guys about books. So I don't want to completely stop, but I do need to figure out how I'm going to handle everything kind of going forward. My schedule is definitely going to be different. I think I'm going to try to see if I can fit filming some videos in on weeknights instead of having to do it on a weekend, if that's a possibility for me. But I'm just really not sure what the future of my channel is going to look like. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up while I kind of try to find my new normal. I might be posting one video a week. I might post no videos some weeks. Other weeks I might post 2 videos if I have like enough that I'm really excited to make videos and talk about. I actually just did a major unhaul of all of my bookshelves because I kind of want to go into 2020 starting fresh and really not having too much on my physical TBR. Like, I definitely have a lot to choose from, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. And I've also been doing something that I'm calling Project Try a Chapter, and I've been doing that on my blog. So I have 2 like very large stacks of books that are over in that direction, and I kind of grouped them into different categories and each have like 4 to 5 per category. What I'm planning on doing is before the end of the year, I'm trying to read the first chapter of each of those books and then decide whether I am going to be unhauling them or if I want to add them to my physical TBR just as a way to further like clear out the physical books that I have. So I've been doing that. I've also been blogging a lot. I've been finding that to be really enjoyable. I've always liked writing, and I did like a challenge where I blogged for 7 days. That just kind of reignited my love with that platform. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be continuing doing. But yeah, I do have some new videos coming. I will definitely be posting the new releases that I'm most excited for in 2020. I'm definitely going to be posting a video of my favorite books of 2019, and I'm also going to be posting a 2020 TBR for you guys. And I also previously filmed my favorite series video of all time, so I really just need to edit that and then I can share that as well. I've been wanting wanting to share that video for years. I had actually filmed it, I want to say 2 years ago now, but I was always like, but what if I find another series that I love? And instead of just posting it then and then making an update video later, I ended up never posting that one. And then I filmed another one, I want to say in like this past October, and that one is for sure going up. I'm not sharing that video. And then just to give you like a quick little update, because I didn't actually do a November wrap-up video, I had spent November trying to finish as many series as I possibly could. So I ended up finishing 7 series, which I'm so pleased with. And then I also read a couple of next books in the series, so I'm caught up on a couple of things for when the next book comes out, or at least have made a little bit more progress. And now on to my reading challenges for 2020. So as you can probably gather from the beginning of this video, reading is not going to be a priority for me in 2020. I absolutely love reading, so I know that I will be reading a lot. I'm just trying not to put pressure on my reading life, and I'm just gonna let it kind of come organically. And I really want to be a more well-rounded reader in 2020. I used to be so good about constantly reading within different genres and trying new things, and I feel like I haven't been great about that in the past couple of years, though I did read my first historical romance in November and I really loved it. Actually, I read my first romance book in the year of 2019, and I also really enjoyed that. So I am glad that I have discovered some new genres, but I don't feel like I have veered too far out of fantasy and contemporary in the past couple of years. So I'm gonna be lowering my Goodreads goal to 75 books. I actually think I'm gonna hit 200 books this year, which it'll be the first time in my life that I've ever hit 200 books, and that's like a milestone that I just don't foresee myself ever getting to ever again. But I'm really excited that I am gonna do it this year. So I'm lowering my goal to 75 books because there are some books that I really want to focus on reading that I know are gonna take me a longer time to do so. And I also really want to prioritize reading more nonfiction in 2020. I have in the past really enjoyed the nonfiction books that I've read, but I just never put them on my TBR. I have tended to gravitate toward fiction instead the past couple of years, and I want to catch up on some of the exceptional titles that I feel like I've missed. I also really slacked off on reading classics in 2019, and I really want to focus on reading some more of those in 2020. I'm actually planning on kicking off the year and rereading Rebecca. That's one of my favorite classics ever, and I haven't read it since I was in high school, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting that story. Alexa's gonna buddy read it with me. So yeah, I actually made a spreadsheet for myself for 2020 of different genres that I want to read books in, and different books that I've had on my TBR for so long, or maybe I don't even physically own them, but just that I want to take out from the library and read. And I'm picking like books from those categories each month to make my TBR. So this is also probably going to lead to me reading more backlist books than I have in years past. I definitely want to get to some of the older things that have been on my TBR for a while. I did make a list of new releases that I'm quite excited for and that I will definitely be reading like as soon as they come out, but I don't want to focus on as many new releases as I have this past year. And in 2018, I feel like I went overboard with new releases, and then I ended up reading some things that weren't so great. And then my absolute biggest challenge for myself, and we will see how I do with this, is that I am going to try not to buy books until I have read them and I've decided that I really want them to be part of my personal library. Obviously, there are going to be some exceptions here, because if something isn't available from the library, or if like the Kindle book is just as much as the physical book and I know that I want to read it as a physical book, I'll probably end up getting it. But for the most part, I want to try to be good about not buying as many physical books as I did this past year, these past couple of years, because it's led to large unhauls, and yeah, it's just too much. I am also toying with the idea of getting rid of doing ratings, because I do feel like they can be extremely misleading. I feel like it's really hard to equate all of my feelings about a book and have them represented by one number. That can mean something so different to me than it does to someone else. I really like the idea of taking the time to talk through the feelings that I have for the books, instead of being like, here is a number that I am assigning to this book. Now make whatever assumptions that you will. And I also personally find it really challenging to rate books between different genres, because like for me, Name of the Wind is a 5-star book. And if I were to think of Name of the Wind every time that I read a book and been like, is this book as good as Name of the Wind, I would literally never have rated another book 5 stars. Also, some books like middle grade books I find challenging to rate too, because I'm like, I get that I'm not necessarily the audience for this, and while I enjoy it, it's not the best thing that I've ever read, but I don't want to mislead someone else, like someone who's in the age group that it would be marketed toward, because it could be something that they would really enjoy. And then also same thing like contemporary versus fantasy. I don't know, I just struggle with it because I feel like fantasy is so in depth and there's so much like world building and all of that goes into it that really like makes it that 5-star book, whereas in contemporary you don't really have to do much world building because we're all already familiar with our world. Obviously things like the setting can be described really well and can get you really into it, but it's just not like a major element that comes into ratings when I think about contemporary books. But anyway, that's just kind of like a random thing. And then the final challenge that I am participating in is the Flights of Fantasy Reading Challenge. So me, Alexa, and Rachel are hosting this. It's like very low key and we're really like doing it for ourselves, but anybody else is welcome to join in. Alexa and Rachel have done Flights of Fantasy in the blogging community in the past, and this year they invited me to join with them because they're like 2 of my best friends and we tend to talk about books together all the time. So all of us wanted to read more fantasy, and we are also going to be reading a couple of fantasy books together. Personally, I think I really want to try to read a lot more urban fantasy in 2020. I've had a rough go with YA fantasy, I would say, over the past couple of years. There are obviously some standouts, but for the most part, I feel like I haven't read anything super exceptional. And I think that it's partially because fantasy got so popular, so a lot more fantasy was getting published, and then it was harder to find those books that really like stuck with me because there's just so much to choose from. So I want to try some other areas of fantasy that I haven't necessarily explored, like urban fantasy. I really haven't delved too much into that genre. I think the only urban fantasy that I've really read, like the complete series, would be like the Sookie Stackhouse series, but there are a couple that I really want to try, like the October Day series by Shauna Maguire, the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning, and a couple of others, but those were the 2 that I could think of off the top of my head. So yeah, that's like kind of where I'm at. That's kind of my plan. So bear with me as I figure out what the new normal of my channel is. I do think that I will be posting less. My goal at the moment is to post 1 video a week, which is definitely a decrease from what I've done in years past. I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna feel the most satisfied with, what I'm gonna feel the most like happy about. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's all that I have for this video. I would love to know if you guys are participating in any reading challenges or if you're trying to kind of be more low-key about it. Just tell me what your feelings are for the upcoming year. That's all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!